if you look at the past year's paper, which we have charted out for you, you'll see very specific pointers and very specific themes. First, know about the geography of the particular country, the economic relations of that country with India. India-Pakistan, there's very less chance that question on India-Pakistan appears in UPSC means. India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Maldives are the three most important countries of the neighborhood. India's relations with Israel and India and United States are the economic blocks of which India is a part, or any military bloc. You see increasing interest of India in Africa has its pros and cons. Similarly, in the last few decades were of Asia's growth story. Hello everybody, welcome to the microthematic analysis of international relations for GS Mains Paper 2. Now, when you start preparing for international relations, the two things which we really miss out while preparation is giving the same amount of focus and depth to this particular subject, considering we already have a lot on our plate to study. And second aspect, since the syllabus of UPSC is quite broad and there's no one particular source, it becomes very difficult for students to take out notes and to essentially make very short notes, because at the end, आपका notes बहुत बड़ा बन जाता है when you start getting content from each place and every place you get and you think it's important. In this scenario, deconstructing the main syllabus for international relations become very important so that our preparation in this particular subject becomes focused, because it is one of the most mark-fetching subjects of GS Mains Paper 2. Now, if we deconstruct the IR syllabus, you see, look, this side, we have mentioned the syllabus as UPSC provides you. So this is the broadest form of syllabus for international relations. If you look at the past year's paper, which we have charted out for you, you'll see very specific pointers and very specific themes appearing constantly every year. If you see, you start with India and neighborhood and India's relation with its neighbor countries and the extended neighborhood, like be it Iran or the Vanilla Islands or the Central Asian countries. Then you get questions on bilateral relations of India with very specific countries, and mostly it's a geopolitically very important country, like be it a USA, China, Russia, Israel. Then when you move into East, you find Japan. Then in Europe, France, Germany, UK becomes very important. So while studying these countries, what is the approach you should take? That is what we are going to discuss based on our previous year question. Then you have different groupings and blocks. If you see previous year papers, questions on I2, U2, or a caucus or a quad keeps on appearing. Then regions. By regions, I mean you need not prepare the smaller countries of Africa. Africa as a block, as a region becomes very important. Similarly, Southeast Asia is a very important region with respect to Indian foreign policy and your UPSC paper. Then you have the ongoing geopolitical issues and its impact on India. Then the most important aspect, especially this year, is the role of Indian diaspora in India's foreign policy and its associated aspects. Then a separate block is the international organizations. Now, if you start reading each and every aspect of international organizations, it itself will be a very voluminous content. But if you look at the past papers, you find very specific organizations which appears again and again. That is a WTO, the various international funding agencies, and few important institutions of United Nations, such as a WHO, UNESCO, UNSC, etc. Now, let us look at the past year's questions and see how this trend or how this thematic trend pans out. So, we first start with India and neighborhood. Now, while preparing while preparing any particular country and the bilateral relations of that country with respect to India, focus on these aspects rather than going on the usual pestle approach. First, know about the geography of the particular country. Now, once you know about the geography, its energy relations with India, then move into the economic relations of that country with India, and then dive into the cultural relations of that particular country with India. Along with it, know about the Indian diaspora in that particular foreign country. When you are studying India's relation with any particular separate nation, follow this particular approach. Now, if you see the questions, discuss the political developments in Maldives in the last 2 years. Should there be any concern to India? Then the question has been on Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. Then any particular scheme or measure or any particular doctrine which India follows with respect to its neighborhood, that becomes very important. One such question came is Gujarat Doctrine, and then you have Project Mosam, which was a unique foreign policy initiative of India for its neighborhood. India-Pakistan, there's very less chance that question on India-Pakistan appears in UPSC means. India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Maldives are the 3 most important countries of the neighborhood, which is important from your perspective of UPSC means. Now, moving into the bilateral relations of India with other countries, if you see India-Japan, India's relations with Israel, and India and United States. So, 3 particular countries have appeared in the last 10 years. That is Japan, USA and Israel. Other than this, the important countries which may come up are the European countries, that is UK, France and Germany, where UPSC has still not delved into, but there's a high probability that it might. And yes, considering the present scenario, Russia as well. The next micro theme is with respect to groupings and blocks. Now, with respect to groupings and blocks, there are 2 aspects which you are going to follow. The most important ones are the economic blocks of which India is a part, or any military bloc which has been in news across the globe. Now, economic group of which India is a part, and globally if there is any military bloc which has been in news. Other than this, there are other groupings of which India is part of, like a SAARC or a BIMSTEC. These all again become very important from your UPSC mains perspective. If you see the previous year questions, there has been question on SAARC, SCO, Quad, BIMSTEC, AUKUS, and again I2, U2. Moving on, you move into regional blocks. Now, how to choose a particular regional blocks? Other than the major countries, do not go on making notes and studying current affairs for smaller countries, be it an African country or a South American country. Such countries usually UPSC asks as a regional block if you see increasing interest of India and Africa as its pros and cons. Similarly, in the last few decades were of Asia's growth story, the next few are expected to be of Africa. So again, Africa will be a very important topic in this year's mains and in the coming years as well. Then if you see the policies with respect to lookist policy and its adjacent, if we see, that is Connect Central Asia policy, also becomes very important. Similarly, energy, the role of energy security, the role of climate change and how it influences India's foreign policy with its various blocks is also an important aspect to be studied for this year's mains. The next sub-theme is the geopolitical issue. Now, this is a pretty straightforward topic which I think everybody would be having an interest in, and they prepare it very exhaustively as well. But you have to be careful while preparing this topic to not dive into the story of a Russian-Ukraine crisis or what is happening in Israel. Keep your preparation focused with respect to a major geopolitical issues and especially what its impact on India going to be. If you see the withdrawal of ISAF from Afghanistan and its impact on India. So this was the question. Mostly when studying geopolitical issues, we delve into, it's interesting. So we delve in deeper and deeper into the crisis and what is happening, what is the condition there. Avoid that at least till mains. Post mains, you can go on studying in a much deeper aspect. Then again, the growth of China in Asia as whole and in the world is again a global issue which will affect India, impact India in various ways. So that appeared in UPSC mains. Similarly, the contestation of outside powers in Central Asia. Now, this is again a geopolitical issue. It is bound to impact India considering India's investments and India's ties with Central Asian nations. Then there was a question on US-Iran nuclear pact, pretty much on the similar lines. So while studying geopolitical issues, strike out the important geopolitical issues and read about its impact on India. Then the most important topic, as I said, Indian diaspora. In Indian diaspora, what is your first way of preparation is going to be? Find out the areas or the regions where Indian diaspora have a larger proportion in respect of population and have a larger say. Those regions become very important with respect to your mains preparation. If you see the questions on Indian diaspora, first there was a question on Indian diaspora in Southeast Asian countries. Then what is the role they have played in the economies of America and Europe? So if I had to show you the questions on Indian diaspora, how they have appeared. Is usually Indian diaspora with respect to a particular region, be it a Southeast Asia or Europe and Americas. Then you have West Asia. So the trick to appear question with respect to Indian diaspora is this way. Okay. So next, the final and one of the most important themes from international relations is international organizations, because each year you will see a question appearing from this particular sub-theme. Now, if you deconstruct the questions that have come over the past few years, you see WTO is one of the most favorite questions of UPSC. Then you have the international funding agencies, such as the World Bank and the IMF, the New Development Bank, AIIB, etc. Then the questions on United Nations have usually hovered around three organizations: WHO, UNSC, and UNESCO. Now, while preparing UNESCO, the one thing please keep a look at is UNESCO and its associated functional commissions. So these are the various themes and sub-themes which you need to prepare while preparing international relations for mains. Do not give it a huge lot of time. Divide your current affairs, your notes based on these sub-themes and revise them again and again. With that, we come to the end of this video. Thank you.